lost to Wake Forest. Today is a noon kickoff right here on ABC 57. Now, hundreds of jerseys, helmets, shoes, not to mention shoulder pads, headsets. The list goes on and on. For Notre Dame, a road game is a whole lot to keep track of. Well, it all gets packed into one semi-trailer and makes the trip, but this time there's a new man behind all of it. Our Vahid Sadrazadeh spent some time with the new equipment manager to get to know him and what he does for this Irish team. Hey Vahid, you join us back in South Bend. Welcome back.
Hey, good morning, Allison. Chris Bassick is anything but a new face behind the scenes for Notre Dame football. He's been around for 2 decades, working his way up through the ranks. He's a lifelong Irish fan, and his new gig is a dream come true. A new week for new head football equipment manager Chris Bassick.
I'll tell you what, I'll pay that ticket the next time you're not so stingy with your pork roll.
But this smiling face is hardly a new one to the program.
Still one more day, and then we got a bunch of stuff that goes under the plane.
Bass, as they affectionately call him, has been a fixture on the Notre Dame football team for over 20 years.
Went to school here and became part of the student manager program, and from there it was just nonstop football all the time.
Chris's dad and uncle both attended Notre Dame, so the choice for him was an easy one. And in 1997, when the opportunity arose to help the team, he jumped at it. Chris was a student manager for head coach Bob Davies.
Wound up being one of the 3 senior student managers for the team in the 2000 season. It was a great experience, and kind of led into me, being offered a full-time position in the equipment department upon graduation. It was just something I couldn't pass up at that time.
What was that overall feeling like the first time you stepped onto Notre Dame Stadium?
Oh, it was incredible. There was nothing like it. I mean, I remember, as soon as I got back to the dorm room that night, calling my dad and just, going through everything that happened from, the time I got there, whether it was setting up lockers and then all the way up until the end, just being involved with it as a student from my freshman year on to being the assistant for a couple of years and then volunteering for the last 10 years for home and road trips, just helping the equipment guys out with different things.
Eventually, Chris went back to MBA school, which meant he had to stop working full-time for the program, but offered to help in any way possible. And for years, because of his love for the team and the university, he did exactly that.
I went to anything that I could drive to for a couple of years. I did, and then they found that out and said, "Hey, we'll pay for you to go to the road games if you want to continue to help us out." So that helped tremendously.
As fate would have it, the dream job would finally open up full-time when friend and former equipment manager Ryan Grooms took a job in Nashville.
When he did, in fact, decide that he was leaving, he had told Coach Kelly that he was leaving, and the same day he said, "Hey, I'd recommend Bass." So slowly but surely over the course of the bowl week, through kind of a couple interviews down there in Florida, it worked out.
And it's been nonstop for this familiar face ever since. A new job in January, getting married in May, and only a few weeks into the new season, a new challenge. His first road game as new head football equipment manager. What is the most gratifying part to you?
I think that any week that we get through with 0 issues, that when you can look back on Sunday and say, all right, that was a good week, we didn't miss anything, nobody got yelled at. You wake up, you have breakfast on Sunday morning, you go to church, and then all of a sudden it's like, all right, well, what do we need to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to get ready for, this next week?
For Notre Dame football, a new week, a new opponent on the field. But the same old Bass behind the scenes.
Now we get ready for practice tomorrow.
An interesting note, Chris was freshman roommates with former Irish point guard Martin Inglesby and forward Harold Swanigan. Swanigan was even a groomsman in Bassick's wedding back in May. With just over an hour until kickoff, pregame rituals are underway. When we come back, a check of our game day forecast. Going to be a nice one for the game, especially in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Sunny skies. Now our crew